Going live. Have you guys heard of the Tesla phone too? That they got the Pi phone coming out.
Do they?
Is that thing?
That one might give everything a run for the money there.
I love how instantaneous this is. I just got notifications for both channels that were live. I love it. Love to see it.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you can do both. You know, the two of them at the same time. We could throw on some more there.
I think you can do Twitter as well.
We've talked about that. Yeah.
Because you guys have both got a big following on Twitter.
Yeah. All right, got a couple people straggling in. Hope everybody's doing well. This is our TA. Man, what are we gonna call Thursdays? I don't know why we choose this one night to go like back to back, but
well, we have stuff every other. We have
That's
stuff
true.
every other
That's
night.
true. Yeah.
You know, it's like
Can't do Friday night. That's Saturday morning for me.
yeah,
I don't do anything on Friday night, but
gotta keep Friday for the kids, man.
It's very true. Actually, I got a pool party tomorrow for my son's 9th birthday. So,
Going to be a mad one.
you know, there will probably be about 39-year-olds there, so it will be.
Oh my God, there's gonna be 39-year-olds there or 39-year-olds there.
39-year-olds, like the kids. There'll be about 30. There'll be 30 kids there. And
Chilling with a load of adults.
Yeah, they'll be aged between 8 and 10. And
Nice.
you know how it's like. Anytime you get a bunch of like kids that age together, it usually ends up being fairly rambunctious. But it'll be fun. It's good.
Rambunctious.
All right.
Never heard that word in my life.
All right, welcome in everybody. I'm sad that you probably can't read my whole title there, but just
imagine they come on YouTube.
We'll leave it to the imagination. If you just caught the Debate Crypto show, we were covering the Solana phone, which is pretty neat. Max, you haven't heard of that, right? That's what we were talking about a minute ago. Is that Solana came out with a cell phone, or will be coming out with a phone or something like that?
Solana. Then aren't they games? Like, why are they bringing out phones?
You know, just their service is that good, man. Somebody's making like
that's what I've heard, yeah.
They were like, yeah, like, oh, that's gonna go down 80% of the time or whatever it was. Like, people had some
It was the phone goes down 80% of the time, 20% it works. Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you guys are all here for analysis, you know, some of that. So we'll go ahead and get that underway. I'm gonna steal your screen from you here in a second, and we will go over the areas on the chart, the most important ones. There were really only 2 areas we've been eyeballing. Well, 3, I should say. We could break this chart up into a few levels. We'll do that right quick just because it makes it nice and easy. Okay. All right, so you really have a few zones on this chart. You could probably mark this certain one, in my opinion. This being just in the middle of the road here, generated by just weekly pivots. So we knew swing failure pattern into the weekly pivots. But the real level that we should be all watching is 20,688.50. Even on this move up here, which one could, if you're a pattern trader, this is a very clean inverse head and shoulders. The move up today after it regained the VWAP, and Max will go over this. You had, you know, a nice short squeeze into a little bit of strength coming in, but you know, as I said on Debate Crypto, you know, I stand by this. People that are usually late to the move are not rewarded. You know, breakout traders generally, you know, that's why they say buy the retest, is because the breakout trader initially is not going to get to keep those gains. They're not going to be rewarded for this heroic effort of pushing that candle up, right? Especially into a lower high on, in my opinion, higher delta. So they really do need to get the ball rolling. And I think that 20,688.50 will play quite a big role, just because, you know, Dalton set up things like that. But you could also go to the EXO charts, value area high on the developing week, and that would actually lend you an area of interest as well. So you lose this area here, then we can start stair stepping it down. And I'm actually interested in playing some of these levels to the downside if we get them. You know, you can see right here though, pretty negative on the delta. you're still making a higher low for now anyway. So you're still waiting for price to confirm it, because really the only entry that I saw, and Max can go over it, was up here at the high. There was a nice entry there if you were watching your statistics and keeping track of things as you should, right? So you had a really nice entry right here potentially. So yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin wants to squeeze, it can. It can certainly squeeze further. The funding rate has reset, though. So as far as short squeeze goes, for me, 20,100 give or take on a clean claim would probably get us where we need to go to maybe challenge back into these highs. But, the better play is a short just based on where we are. It's just, you don't want to take a risky one, or you don't want to take one that's ill-advised. You want to wait for a good entry. So I would play these zones, because I do think that these are the areas of interest on the chart. So you've been butting up against this level here, 20,688. You're above it. If we start closing below it again, we would be looking at something like this. And let me get rid of the VWAP. Right, so you can see that we hadn't closed above that level. So these are really nice, clean levels that we've given. We gave them weeks ago. All these zones have been mapped out for the better part of 2 weeks. It's just, well, outside of the weekly pivots anyway. But you got to look at this and just say, is this candle, if it comes down below this, is that bearish or bullish? I guess you do have a new level here you could mark off as well, right around 19,962. But yeah, that's really all I've got, guys. I would be watching this zone here between the value area high on the weekly at 20,905.50, and then I would monitor that down to the zone of 20,741.50. Because if you start giving those areas up, you do start putting some of these late longers underwater, and I think that you just have some issues at that point. So, and just from a structural standpoint, then you're looking down to, well, maybe even back testing this daily, and then further after that. And then these guys just become fuel to get a range rotation, and a larger range begins. Otherwise, 20,100 to the upside, or just the daily open, I think that you've got to squeeze up to maybe the weekly pivot. And then obviously you do have the dailies down here at the low and the high, where you would just be monitoring. That's all I'd be looking at personally. I'll turn it over to Max. So let him go through the OF. I think he had a couple trades he wanted to talk you guys through.
God damn it, Magic! You left me. That was quick. That was.
Yeah, no, I told you I was going to move quick.
Yeah, give me 1 second though. Right, I'll do this.
Oh, you're good. Take your time.
Right, so let's get to it. Yes, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to talk about, and then we'll go over what's cracking off in the immediate. So I'm just going to go over trades that one could have taken yesterday. The first one was actually from the forks that Magic created. I'm not going to show Magic, don't stress. I'm just going to have a pre-made one that we made earlier. And if you look at this, so the session opened here. And what occurred, you came back down, tested the lower bottom of the fork, and then you took a considerable number of hours to then go up and tap the median. Great little long trade for anyone that got in it. It was really good. Not really much else to say, but these forks are literally amazing. The second trade that one could have taken was a short. It was a swing failure pattern. If we go and have a look at the order flow, we can see what occurred, and my one would have entered a trade here. So this is the area. So we come tap the median here, and then you stalled out a little bit. Not really much happened. And then when we got a bit closer to here, you can see as you come up, you've liquidated a load of shorts as you've taken the high. So let's mark it out here so we can all see. There you go. So as you've broken the high, you've liquidated, a considerable amount of shorts, which we can see here, 1.5 million, 700K, 5, or pretty much 600K, a considerable number of shorts getting liquidated and stopped out here. But then, as you can see, the open interest actually showed we did have that liquidation run as the open interest dropped. But as you can see, it actually climbed back up. So what does that mean? Well, that means that shorts actually came in and pretty much took over the positions. Granted, not as many as we stopped out, but a lot of shorts then came back in, flooded back into the price action. And where could you have got an entry on the trade? Well, we discussed this in the group because on the 5-minute time frame, it was quite confusing as to what occurred here because the delta was positive overall for these few candles. But it's when you go to the crack time frames that you can see, okay, stopped out them shorts, then some shorts actually came in to push you down, and on the next candle, a ton more shorts entered. I say a ton, the delta at the bottom here isn't crazy. If you're looking at the candle like from overall just quickly, it is negative delta on increasing open interest coming away from a potential swing failure pattern where you have liquidated shorts and had their positions taken over. So, you've got your selling imbalances. You've just come from a pretty important level where you've just had somewhat of a liquidation run, and then you're getting a push away from it, which is pretty strong with the selling imbalances and the open interest and what have you. That was your second. That was your second possible good trade for the day yesterday. And then I actually took a long, pretty easy one. Can't lie. It was down here. It was the golden pocket from this low to the high. It came down nice. It was a fast move into the gold pocket. Closed at PVA, which I really like when we have a PVA in particular areas. You got the fast move back up. And then to be honest with you, I was really annoyed with myself. I actually took pretty much all the profits at this region here. I was going out for the day. I was going out and I was like, do you know what? I'll just close that trade so I'm not stressing about it while I was out. So I closed the trade here. Hindsight, pretty foolish move. Then what occurred after that? Let me hide this VWAP area. You actually came into the golden pocket from the top, from the current high that we've got to the low that it created here. You actually came into the golden pocket. Yes, it did just about go through it, but cut me some slack. And of course I'm not trading this. It's too late at night for me. But then what did you do? You actually came back down and tested the Southern Token. And then what you did is you come back down and tested the daily level that we've got. So you've broken above it, clearly resistance here, broken above it, come back down, tested it as support. It's what we like to do when we want to see more upside. I would say this level is pretty key to hold now. Below that we've got some 15-minute PVAs for the guys in the group. We know the statistics on their close rate, pretty high. So, it's quite important that we do hold this level. We have on the lower term timeframes, if I come and have a look at where we are now, get rid of that level because it's unnecessary. Come and have a look where we are now. We did create some bearish divergence between this high and this high. Actually, don't think it's actually visible. No, we definitely did. Yeah, we created some divergence on a real low time frame, which shows some absorption taking place here. Why am I on the 1 minute? Let's get to something that we can actually view. Yes, we did have some divergence between this high and I believe it was this one. I've had a look at it in the volume chart, so it's different when you come over to a set time frame. So in the immediate, oh look at that, you've had quite a few shorts enter here just below the daily open. If we can get back above the daily open, now you're going to put these shorts that have entered here. You can see it there, 3.5 million, 3.8 million. Increasing open interest, that's shorts entering the market here just below the daily open. Granted, it's not an awful place to short, but then with them being now put underwater already, you have to think, okay, where are they putting their stop losses? Because that's what the market maker is going to see. He can view all this, and he will look at this short and say, oh, that's a big short there. That if I can push it to where they're going to get stopped out, he can get a short entry from their liquidity. He can get a better entry, possibly up here, and he can hide his position by squeezing them out. And that's what the market maker does. He pushes the price to areas that stops out other traders, so that one, he can get a better entry, and two, he can keep hidden from the charts. That's a considerable number of shorts here. So yeah, claiming the daily open now. And you're putting a bit of pressure on them. Again, you do need to claim the daily open, but then you can look for probably the previous day high to be taken to stop out them shorts that we've just spotted enter there. But if they're not put under pressure, if we don't claim the daily open now, I do foresee us to go and close them PVAs, which come down to the daily this daily level, and then you play the game of, so where's the daily level? 20,700 pretty much. Then you play the game of, are we going to get a Dalton's 80-20 occur today? Because if you're coming down to where that daily level is and the previous day value high is there, you spend enough time down there, then you start to come into the are we getting the 80%, or sorry, it's like 75% that you come and hit the previous day point of control, all the way down at 20,400. So yeah, interesting to see what goes on up here. Obviously, I'm up now, so I'll be in the group talking through this stuff as it occurs. But yeah, for everyone that's not, you've got the shorts that have entered here. Let's see if we can put some pressure on them. If not, I've talked about the levels to the downside now in the immediate. And short and simple, to be fair.
I like it short and simple, my man. Keep it short.
Just like magic.
I knew you were going to say that.
I was muted, but I said that's what they call me, and I was like, Max.
Short and simple.
I got you, mate. I got you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, he will never miss the opportunity. That's for certain. All right. Take a look at a couple of altcoins, and we'll release you all back to your Thursday night. So we just did debate crypto. Magic and I just a bit ago. We kind of covered a couple of these that I'm going to go over. Just going to go over them again here. Kind of ran through them on the show there. But Matic has been one of interest, and something that we've been watching in the group as well. We were kind of looking at it the other, actually into the fall as Bitcoin was coming down into the 20K or the 17K region last weekend, right? And pretty much the last level that I was looking for was going to be this quarterly key level right here. Is about 31 cents. We actually didn't make it quite there, at least on the Binance chart. This is the daily time frame, mind you. So this is why it's kind of spaced out here. I just wanted to show you something in that sense, though, because this was a pretty important level to hold on to. Because pretty much there's not much below us until this price area on the chart down here. So very similar to what we saw in like Zilliqa. You've seen it in Solana, VeChain, a lot of the other altcoins that have actually, we call it the cliff right before you go down to the do-rag basement. So definitely an area we wanted to hold on to. And then looking at this, just really, I got like 5 levels on here. We could really dissect this a little bit more into some smaller time frames. But as far as what I'd be looking for, one thing to note for anybody that's RSI junkie, right? You got your 4-hour like pushing into like 90. So I'm sure a pullback at some degree is going to be coming in, which we can expect obviously because we've seen Matic rally at least 60 or 70% by now. And if you were looking around that quarterly, right? So it's 100% actually so far. And taking a look at what we did here, right? I'm just going to zoom in just a bit. So you bounced off that quarterly key area, took the run, right? We have this daily level that lines up here. And then you've also got essentially our previous little range that we just put in. Pretty much built this out from like May, right? So up until about like right now, we pretty much ran it up and getting a little bit of resistance right at that range low. We just re-entered the range. So at this point, you can assume that we're going to run it to that point of control, give it about 65 cents, another 10%-ish area from where we are now. From there, and possibly even where we are now, right, lose this little range low. This daily level below us, I would imagine we'd come back to as support or possibly run it up to this point of control and come back down to the range low here. This would be, a nice 10-15% pullback, which is in line after the run up that we're having right now. So as far as that would go, that's a little bit of the short term there. I've got this area mapped out right here because this is the next high volume node and the quarterly VWAP as well. So you got the quarterly VWAP coming in right here. Obviously, we've overtaken the daily and the weekly and the monthly. So quarterly is the next major one up here. And then if you zoom it out to the previous range that we pretty much came into, which is back here. This is a Q1 or Q2 of last year, I believe. You got the range low coming in, meeting right with that quarterly key level. So this was a pretty big base level for the price action to come back to. Obviously, we had our point of control here. But as far as this goes, the next major area on this range does come in at this region right here, like 80 cents. So I wouldn't expect that overnight, but over time, and then coming weeks here, assuming the market continues upwards, that would be a next major area, about 80 cents, right? Probably look at something like this along the way. If you do make it all the way up here and then come back down, we probably retest this range high, right, as support. And then you'd be looking to essentially overtake that region and head up. Zooming this out a little bit further. Like I said, I mean, there's other levels in between as far as a short term, but just on a high time frame here, I mean, the major levels I'd be looking for would be after that. If we clear this area, you got the golden pocket from this whole move down, lines up with your yearly key level. So the yearly key level comes in about $1.80, and then you got the yearly open. So for now, getting ahead of ourselves, looking up that high, obviously, it's not going to shoot straight up there. I have actually seen that right after we say that, half the time it actually does run up there after overnight. But in reality, just short term, this would be the area to pay attention for, about 65 cents. Maybe we rotate this range and full up to 70, then get a pullback and continue on from there. But yeah, Matic was holding on to dear life at the edge of that cliff. One of these cliffs, kind of joking about it the other day, was Max's dad was Binance. It had a similar feeling to it right before we got some bad news the other day, right? So we were looking at a similar situation. Binance is another one that had a really, impulsive move to the upside here over that last bull run. One of the, not that every single coin exploded, but, Binance, Matic, Phantom, some of those Cardano things that ran like 100x, basically BNB was holding on to this region as well. So you really don't want to lose this area on BNB. You do have just a couple of pit stops below if we did. Right, so you got the yearly S1 comes in about 160, which is, you can almost zoom in and just see like this little cluster on the chart here. But that's really, not an area you want to start getting below. But for now, assuming that the market kind of continues up in the short term here, I would imagine everything's going to get a bounce. And somebody, JBWBNB, said Rune or Comp. Yeah, if you guys want to jump back on for this OF, just say the word. Our OnlyFans, we're trying to grow it.
I mean, yeah. So I touched on it. I guess I'll share my screen real quick, and it's not anything too big, but we just talked about this on stream. I was going through it, and I tried not to go over all of it because Max, he covers OF too, and this is one of those where you can see that you have a pretty aggressive, delta coming in. And that's why I said you really have to get this weekly value area high at 20,905.50 because you have a higher low right here, and you can see that shorts are trying to suppress the price, but someone wants to push this higher. So it's indicated the market maker may want to go for their stop losses. So you've gotten a really nice bounce out of this area. You can see the volume coming in, right? And so you get a little bit of a war. And these are things that you can look for day trades at the highs of a move, rather than, feeling like your hands are tied here, like, well, fuck, I can only short. No, I mean, you can take trades. It's just, you have to understand that this move right here, the low of it is, 20,985.50, and the high of it is 21,094.50. So you get a $110 move on price that's trading for $21,000. You have a 0.5% move here. Reclaim of the VWAP, I mean, that's an initial take profit one for sure, and then you're just looking to see if you can't take the highs at that point as the next take profit all the way up around 21.2, and that's a 1 to 2% trade for the day. Stop loss is obviously below the next low because you got to make a higher low to complete bullish divergence in this case for absorption. But you can also see the OI right here. So you'll notice that you've got a really big spike in OI. You've got a nice green halting candle here, okay? And you can see that you have a ton of negative delta percentage, all right, here at the low. And then it just starts flipping, all right? So this is a really good area to get in on a higher low potentially and make that move into the daily open and so forth. So, and then once the daily open's claimed, you have the potential for looking up back to the highs. So when people say you can't trade up in this region, It's just simply not true. They just have to understand if you don't have risk management, you can't identify the area where you're right and you're wrong because, full disclosure, if you start losing this area, this low right here at the weekly value area high and these, higher lows that are being put in, you're probably going to get a nice $200 drop. And that would suck, especially if you're using any kind of leverage or size. You don't want to be caught even on a 1%, move to the downside. It's not great. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but if you're trading with any actual like Bitcoin size, it does suck. But now you've got a nice move, and this is kind of giving you the hat. It's tipping you and letting you know that this is the better trade. So if you were sat in a short up here, like you'd taken the short from the high because there was a good entry. One might see this, the highs might get taken again. If I haven't locked in profits, I should lock in at least some and then move my stop loss maybe to the entry or just above the high because it can really get taken. That's really all I got on it. It's just more of a mentality thing and using the tools correctly. You have good open interest coming in on the candle now to the upside. You've got imbalances coming in, so they're going to try to squeeze these guys out, as Max kind of indicated. These like bigger players that did short into pseudo support, so to speak, right here. It just is what it is. Someone else has intentions, so that's the beauty of this software. That's where it shines. Is it's giving you that look when no one else has it. You're not looking for bids for that. You're looking for executed orders to see what's going on. And that's not to tinker too much. It's just, just a good example of how to use this, in my opinion.
Beautiful.
Back to the CVO show.
A tribute. Somebody, JVW, Johnny Black, White. I don't know. I was coming up with something there, but for comp, this is something I was touching on. I touched on this for quite a while in the members only market updates for the last few weeks. Kind of going over the current ranges that are getting, basically set up for these altcoins. I mean, everything in the market has obviously taken a really big hit. And if we ended up, regardless whether we range it out for a while or not, or just get some full rotations in the ranges we're currently in, they're massive on the altcoins. All of them, right? Like, I mean, ranging from Ethereum's range is like 100% to 170, depending on how you're looking at it. Comp, for a good example, I know we're not at the low right now, but from low to high at the moment, this is like a 300% window here. And once, not saying that we're going to get 100, a for sure move up to the high here, but taking it level by level, you just got some, like I just pretty much only put the major areas that I'm looking for in the short term here, just as you brought it up. But you got the point of control and the EQ coming in. If you were to take a lower time frame golden pocket, it's going to line up right there as well, a little local GP. And so regardless, this region is going to be that magnet towards, it's like our natural target, right? The price action generally gravitates towards that point of control once you re-enter a range. So from where you are now, which, you already seen a really big impulse. So this probably isn't the greatest area to be buying in the shortest term, right? If we get a pullback in the market, obviously everything's going to get 10, 15%. But where we are now towards this point of control is like another 30% move, right? So the next area to really look for would be to flip that, right? To come up to this region, flip this, hold it as support. Now you got your stop loss idea here. Granted, you really, as far as like leverage trading would go, you probably don't want to be getting involved in the middle of the range. But if this was just a short-term swing trade or an area you wanted to, accumulate for, at this point, I know it's always an oddity when you say, wait for higher in a sense, if you're not in something, because the reason being for that is that we have a really good opportunity to just pull back to the range low as well. So your double-edged sword, I guess, you either got to risk holding a 30% drop or missing out on 30%. So it's kind of where you are there. The only thing is, like, looking over here, you are kind of coming into the top of these high volume nodes. So overtaking that, does give a little bit more of a pathway, just pretty much to that point of control. But from here, this untapped monthly key level, and then you got the range high coming in up at about $117. Once again, this is not an overnight run up area. And we could very easily come back down, lose the range low, and continue lower, right? So that's your invalidation areas. You want to pay attention to that $31. Realistically, the lows that have been put in place already, about $26.40. But as far as looking up from here, yeah, you got this point of control, untapped monthly key level, and then you got the golden pocket of the whole move down, and the range high comes in at 116, which could end up playing out, right? So if you get a little pullback around this region, and especially if you get another run down to the range low, but from where you are right now, or even just from that point of control, right? Say you get that flip, really big opportunity overhead, if given, right? That's the deal. We got to pay attention to Bitcoin at the same time. Rune was the other one. And Rune was one we played really well over here, right? So this was back in like March. We didn't get the low right here, but we got the back test of this golden pocket was where we entered at. And from here, I think it was the exit area we were looking for was this yearly key. So it didn't nail the entire move. It was like 150% though. From there, you got that yearly key level, basically re-entered that, back tested it. Then we went, re-entered the range, same deal, right? Just came back in, got that daily close, back test, and then rotate the range in full, lost it. Obviously, the whole market as a whole dragged down with it. And where are we at right now, right? So right now, if you're going to kind of consider this region a smaller, just structural range above you, this would be an area to be paying attention for. Otherwise, we're looking at the overall range here and kind of similar, right? We kind of overtook this high volume node down here. From where we are now in the chart, there's really not too much above us, basically back towards this point of control for Rune. It's a tough move in as far as like just kind of chasing green candles though, right? Like, because that's everything's up like 50-60% now. So if you hadn't gotten in, or if you hadn't scaled in, or if you're just already holding from higher and just kind of getting an idea of what's to go for, maybe that's what a majority of people may be doing. You do have a lot of volume coming in at the bottom of the range though as well, so that's not necessarily the best thing to see. But for me, I'd be looking for a possible run up back towards this point of control, like $3. Really wouldn't be something I enter personally, just like I said, like just something that's already kind of rallied pretty hard short term, just as everything else has. So kind of be looking for that pullback, or just start reevaluating if we do come up and overtake this point of control here, re-enter this old range. From there, you're looking back up towards this point of control there. But aside from that, if I was lining up the two of them, I'd probably be paying more attention to comp right now. All right. Solana just listed a new cell phone. Call me on my soul phone. The soul phone. Real easy range for Solana. Looking at this range low the other day as we came into it. From here, you got actually 2 or 3 chances to get in around it, right? These are the daily time frame, so this was a couple of wicks now, but these were probably held there for several hours at the time. From there, our natural target already been met, right? Point of control. So even from this weekly level, you're already looking at like a 45% move to the upside, 50 in total. Not surprising if we just, if we don't get through this region and get a pullback, maybe back towards this monthly right here. I put in a little higher low, and then we're looking for a continuation if that's the case. You really want to flip this point of control to start looking any higher. Got your golden pocket, this daily level, and the range high coming in as the next major areas. Pretty similar to the other altcoins as well, as these ranges are pretty massive. If we do end up just kind of swimming through these for a bit, right? It's like 100. I mean, it's not as big as some of the other ones, but definitely some opportunities to be had if we get that run. And we'll do a near. Near is a fan fave. And pretty simple.
The question is, CVO, is it near the bottom?
God, I hope it is. It's only got $2 more before it goes to zero. So,
Yep.
Man, we had another good near joke the other day. I can't remember what it was. Maybe that's what it was. Hopefully it was near the bottom. Maybe that's what it was going to be. But near was near the range low the other day. From here, it doesn't look like a big move, but it's I think that's pretty much a 40-50% jump too. Oh, actually, it isn't a big move. Okay, so this is only up 26%. From here for near daily time frame once again. So I know that this looks like just a super easy candle here. But if you come back down, retest, and basically hold this point of control, if you're looking for something of that nature, right, for the continuation to the upside, you're putting in a little higher.
Not to interrupt you, but there's your highs
for Bitcoin.
Yeah, we just talked about it. The bull div, it's going to take the high more than likely after the daily open. There it goes. Beauty. Anyway, continue.
I don't have my XO pulled up, or I would shift it
No,
over.
you're good, dude. It's all right.
It's not all right. You'll be more prepared.
Because it's not all right.
You'll be more prepared, damn it.
That's all right. No, it's all right.
But yeah, the near and I don't like to bring these up, like the percentage difference of this whole range, because I feel like it sends the wrong image. But if this range gets rotated in full, man, this is a monster. And I know we're not at the low, so I'll just even take it from where we are now. But you're talking about like 275%. You start kind of coming back into the previous range up here as well. So I mean, realistically, let's even if you just ran it to the let's just say this high volume node area, 3 month. I mean, that's 90% window. You got 40% just up to the golden pocket, and this is just a local golden pocket, not the overall. I think the overall comes in this region, and I think that near is just something to kind of keep an eye on. I know everybody's really quite worried right now, and this and that, and it's so simple for the rhetoric to change. And something like Solana, for example, and I really haven't looked into that whole deal, but out of nowhere, Solana was like a super dogged on project last few weeks, becoming the new Luna or whatever the case. And I actually haven't really read the room, I guess, on some of the sentiment, but you get one announcement about a phone or something, and it's just like it switches. So the market is in a position where, like how Magic says, we're in bouncy territory, right? Will that mean we're going to bounce this whole range? Probably not, but it's just the fear is very high right now as we're at the lows. So something to kind of keep in mind of. But near is a big one I'm paying a lot of attention to personally. And we're working on making a near specialist in the group. He's almost graduated.
Needs to hold 21,197.
What you got, Max?
He's probably walking his sausage dog.
No, I'm here. Let me bring up a.
That New York NPOC is up top, man.
See, as expected, as soon as you see that, you've squeezed them out here for sure, taken out any other shorts that have entered here. Crypto user, never heard of it, so there you go. Right now, definitely a battle going on. So, what to expect here if we go to alerts and time frame. Let's have a look on the 1 minute. So you can see broke above it, shorts got wrecked, but arguably I'm going to cheat here. Have a look. So load of longs closed out, and look, as what happened yesterday, you had shorts get stopped out, which was what caused this little wick here. But then clearly a load of shorts have piled back in to push the price action down. So this is a swing failure pattern, effectively. As you can see, that you've come up, taken out these shorts that entered down here that we spotted a minute ago. Someone's taken over their positions effectively. So I would actually expect this to come down. I will give it a minute because considering we're lingering here, definitely something taking place here. Yes. But yeah,
I'll show you the screen I'll show you what I'm watching. Not on XO, but it's just something I had up on TradingView. I shared it in the group already, but
you do you.
Yeah, so old session, right? We're looking for the swing failure pattern here at 20,264.50 potentially. You're looking to really close below 21,197 outside of this range. This is an old range. Old ranges get respect, just like the old folks do. So what we're looking to see us old heads are now looking to see this close outside the range, or even if it closes in here below the swing failure pattern, push below it on the next candle. Obviously, order flow is going to be king, right? See that coming in and confirming, because you can see that people are trying to make this happen. The question is whoever was pushing this up, are they going to let it happen? Me personally, anytime I see negative 88% and 52%, with imbalances like this, I'm probably going to take to the VWAP, or I'm going to try to anyway. Stop loss above the high, good risk management. If you lose a trade, who cares? But that would be the trade that I'm after. Daily opens coming in there too. Yeah, it's a good place. Anything below that, and yeah, you can get down to these lower levels, and you got to think everyone who's entered here and didn't take profits, they're in trouble. But if it continues on, it is what it is. You get stopped out and you move on with your life. But certainly when you see what you just saw, and I think Max would confirm this, you can't be buying this.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's not going to do you any favor. So, yeah, this is where it pays to be patient and wait for the order flow to actually give you a great signal. Because even if you took the signals over here, though, like this was actually a decent short signal. Well, you could have got in. You just have to actually take profits. That's the key, is taking the profit, taking them in, and knowing that you're getting paid with that. And if you get stopped out, it doesn't matter. Or maybe you move your stop to break even. You still made money, and you move on to the next trade. So, there's been some conversation about prop desks recently. Some of these guys don't use this shit. They use like RSI and stuff, and that's fine. But if you were talking like taking actual day trades and taking multiple trades a day, especially this, you have to be using this. Like, in my opinion, like it's the only way to go. And I'll let you take back over, not to hijack at all, but it's just very, very good order flow. Very easy order flow.
Yeah, that was quite nice that we spotted them come in, and then clearly seen them be squeezed out and replaced. Had their positions definitely closed out, but then someone has, without a doubt, said, I'll have them. It's in a good spot, and that's what someone's done here. Now, if it's the market maker, granted, they can hold, an underwater position for a considerable amount of time, because they'll have longs from the lows. This will just be a somewhat of a hedge for many traders, for many market makers. Right now, I would wait for this candle to close, because you're not going to. These imbalances could change. So what we teach in the group about the imbalances. You have to wait for the candle to close in order to see if they're confirmed, because they can always change. A ton of buyers could come in here. You can go to the lower term timeframes, but then you have to understand that what you see is lesser somewhat, because it's, look here, you've got a selling imbalance here on this 900K little area, but it's only going against $1. So obviously there's going to be an imbalance there. So it has to be thought of and taken into consideration when you're looking at imbalances on the lower term timeframes. So that's why I like to wait for the higher term timeframes to really, close out and show you, okay, there's your confirmed signal. And then you can, if you don't want to wait, if you're not trading on order flow, you could, go to the 1 minute time frame. Let me hide that. Do something like this, because that's the previous day high. The 1 minute time frame. And what you could do, or we've actually already put in a lower high on the 1 minute, is wait for market structure to somewhat change. So you can see here, it's coming up, and you've gone arguably lower high here, but again, it's on the 1 minute, so you have to take it for what it is. But it's not bad when you're spotting this and you're thinking, okay, can't see the order flow giving me exactly what I want. Okay, the market structure is somewhat changing. Granted, it is on the 1 minute, but sometimes you take it for what it is. That is actually what I've got now. So we'll see how this plays out. Personally, I do think it's going to come back down. Reasons being, you have the pivot. I imagine No, don't do this normally.
Pivots down there at the previous day value or higher, close to
Yeah,
it.
so much coming in down there that just signals,
Yeah.
okay, And I know we don't trade CVD divergence on a higher term time frame, but we've definitely got some going on. Definitely some absorption of these longs that have come in this area. This isn't really a tradable. Actually, do you know what? What's that? 2 or 3% is that? It's about 2 or 3%. Arguably, that is a trade. But if we push higher from here, CVD is leading until it's not. So if we can look at where they entered, this is on the hourly term time frame. This is why I hate trading CVD on a higher term time frame. But it's looking at this and you can think, okay, maybe I want to start loading up on a short because there's clearly some absorption taking place because there's a lot of market buys coming in and it's failing to put tickets as high as the market buys did when we were over here. And so it's looking at the market orders in relation to previous highs. It's what gives you the CVD divergence. And yeah, you can look at that. Granted, if you're scalping day trading, you're not really going to put a 3% stop loss on day trade because if it does go against you, wiped out a day or two's worth of profits. But yeah, there's definitely absorption going on overall here, and we currently have had an entry trigger. Let's be honest. So yeah, let's see where that goes. See if it holds. Could linger here a bit longer. Where could you wait for a confirmation? Well, if you start to break below this level now, it's put in this lower high. Arguably, you could wait for it to break this level, and then you could think, okay, down here, I'm going to short. Stop loss above it, above the high that's been left. Granted, it's not like a perfect swing failure pattern because it's not been a quick move up and a quick move away. You've lingered here for a little bit, but break below this level now, you can start to think, okay, stop loss there, take profit 1, daily open / VWAP. Arguably, just go the VWAP just to play it safe because are you going to really chew hairs over $40? Not really. And then you could stay hedged, in my opinion, down to the previous day value at high because there's not really too much in this area to stop
Where's
you
the
from.
gold pocket of this move up?
Let's have a look. I'm on literally 1 minute. Let's get to 15.
From the one at the 20,121 low. Let's have
this one here. From where we got that gold pocket bounce last night. Come in at just below. Well, we've got the previously value area high here. Where's the control? I actually forgot where that one is. 20,400. 20,400 is just above the 786. That'd be a deep retrace. But yeah, that'd line up with coming down, testing this, and then coming back and testing the previous day value area high, and then continuing down to the previous day point of control. If you came back down to this gold pocket, come back up, tested the previous day value area high, and then down again.
The only problem I foresee is that you closed inside that range, at least initially. So that's all I'm watching. Is that it's same level you're watching it is. I'm just calling it 21,197.50 or 21,200. I think you're right on that same line actually when you were pointing it out in the order flow. You start breaking down from there, and yeah, you got a decent little trade probably. It's the old new.
I'd wait for this list to break here before I took a trade now.
Yep.
But yeah, all good. Hopefully you guys understand that somewhat. If you don't, you know where to go.
We normally don't get great examples like this to show on
this stream in particular.
Yeah. So I'm actually this is disappointing because we've been doing live trading sessions, and I traded the Asia obviously, which was fucking dead. And
you've been pretty lit though. Like we chat shit for a few hours, but it's been
but still, but everybody wants to see you chat shit. They want to see you take trades and like get volatility. And Asia session was just not the one, man. I've joked about maybe doing another session this week just to do one because we took one trade and it was fine. I took it kind of out of necessity because I wanted to go to bed. and it was a
just
winner.
Like one trade a session, and you.
Yeah, but I mean, you want it to be a trade that's not forced. You want them to like actually see the reasons why you're taking it, not just like, hey, here's how you could force a trade if you want to. Here's how I made 3% today by forcing a trade. You want them to see things like this where there's actual triggers and real things going on. So
that's the thing with the live trading. If we're going to schedule it into certain times, it's going to be more difficult. As
it is,
it
is.
We want more people to join and watch, but at the same time, like if we get that comes with the schedule. Whereas if we go,
we may, I may keep my screen recorder on and just for when I trade the New York session going forward over the weeks, and just record those trades just in case. That way, I can just pop them on there anytime I need to, and they can have a good time with it. What?
Ooh. Well, you don't listen to me. You just sit in silence. It's pretty easy for you to record your screen constantly and get that uploaded to YouTube.
You can, that screen recorder has a mute button on it. So if you wanted to play garbage music, you could. You can hit the mute button.
Yeah, but then everyone's sitting in silence watching. It's a bit weird.
No, it's not. You can record video you can record sound over the top of it after you save it. You just go to video editor on your computer, and it'll let you record sound over the top. So you can just walk them through it.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you wanted to mute it, so mute the mic. That way you're not being recorded while you're screen recording. You could do it, and you could just play music, and then that way, if we're not live, you could upload it. It's just a thought, since
I'll stick to the live trading sessions.
Yeah, we are live like 8 hours in the week, which is pretty crazy.
Literally. Well, we did 4.5 on Monday, and then I think I did another 3.5 on Wednesday. Yeah. And then obviously what you did was another like 2 or 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, I hopped in a couple of yours for fun, but yeah, I mean that's all I really got, guys. Nice. Todd wants you to look at Chainlink.
Yep, I got Chainlink up for Todd, and then that'll probably be where we close it off. But Chainlink's been kind of developing a pretty interesting range over the last few months here. It started off pretty wide, and it's gotten pretty narrow now. So really been living pretty heavily with honestly rotating it in full a couple times, and then really hugging the point of control here. We've been kind of hovering around this region for the last couple of days now, especially since if you want to call this a little double bottom or whatever, but realistically just back tested the low, ran it back up, right? We got a weekly level coming in here. This golden pocket is a pretty big level to me in the short term here, especially if we, in the sense of like, Bitcoin's going to get a small pullback right now and then run from there, whatever. The altcoins get a little push, however it goes. This region will probably come into play. I got the quarterly VWAP up here as well. It's coming in just about in that region. I'm sure by the time if we actually pushed up into this region in the next couple of days, that would probably line up pretty well. Then you got the range high, but it's in the short term here, right? We're above the point of control, right? So at the moment you lose this, and you basically run the risk of running it back down. But for now we are holding it. So maybe we come back down, get a little retest. You want to see this weekly level claimed, and then basically the next real level above you is this daily / this golden pocket / probably eventually the quarterly VWAP comes in right there. It's going to offer up some resistance there short term. So maybe get that run up there and you come back down to this weekly once again and kind of stair step it up. Otherwise, these would be the few levels here for Chainlink to the upside, as long as we're holding above this point of control, which is basically $7 flat. And one fun fact about Chainlink, once again, not to get this is a super bullish mode if it's ever enacted here, and this would really take a lot. So something just to kind of keep note of going forward here. But the range right above us, if we were to re-enter that, which is very far away from here, so not necessarily worth getting super excited about, but for whatever reason, if this is like the last stream you see on Chainlink, I'd be looking for that range to be claimed here. We got a monthly level above us there, and then upwards into this 2-week. That would put you back in this old range with the point of control coming in this region. Obviously, your high comes back in here. This chart looks real busy, but it's pretty big move to the upside if that's given. Way down the road, not something to totally be betting for right now, but just something to kind of keep in mind. But for now, this is the range we got. Quite possible to just basically do exactly what we've been doing, right? And just kind of range it out in here and see how things transpire. Need to click that. Yeah. Aside from that, I think that's about all we got. Hope you all enjoyed this update. We do this public update every week, Thursday night. We do Magic and I do Debate Crypto, which is another YouTube channel that we host or that we're guests on every Thursday as well at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Magic's actually going to be a guest on Crypto Jeb next week on Tuesday morning. So be sure to tune in for that. We'll send out an alert in the Discord. And for anybody that's interested in learning how we identify these ranges, key levels, point of control, access to our technical analysis for our altcoins and our Bitcoin analysis, order flow, open interest, the works, you can join the Discord in the description below if you are interested. Otherwise, we'll see you all in the next one. Hope you all have a great evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. Until then, cheers.